Yo, what's happening? Check, check. What up? What up? That looks good. That looks good. Threaded headwear. What's going down, man? Big beat of golfer. That's right. Happy Tuesday. The one above all. Therese, what's happening? Alex said, looking good, sounding good. Appreciate that. What's going down? How's everybody doing? The new auto prices. Yeah, man. And I messed up. And when you hit me up about ordering on the very last day, I let the homie Dave know. Dave ended up placing an order and got some in before the price hike. I didn't get a chance to. I had my cart filled up, and then when I seen the prices, because I had screenshot it, and when I seen the prices the following day, the prices were crazy. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Otto just had a huge price hike. I don't know if you guys use Otto hats. I know Threaded Headwear does. Myself included. Majority of my 6 panel structured snapbacks are Otto hats. They had a crazy price hike, man. And just a few years ago, I'll say like around the time that I got the embroidery machine, 2020, I think it was. Um, Auto hats were like 350, $3.50, and it was that price for the longest time. And then now these things like six something. It's crazy. It sucks. It ultimately hurts us, the decorators and stuff like that. But that shit's a killer. Do you teach Photoshop classes for AI? No, I don't. One, I don't know nothing about AI. And two, I'm probably not the best Photoshop teacher. Um, I know enough to get by, but I'm not like a professional. I don't even know what a lot of the terms are, man. I just posted a video yesterday showing you guys how to do like the upside down hat designs that you've been seeing. And there's a little tool on there where it's a little T and it looks like it's standing on a hill. I didn't even know the name of that shit. That's how I described it in the video. So yeah, I wouldn't be the best Photoshop teacher. I know enough to get by and to manipulate a few things, but that's about it. What do you think about the 1301? I stopped using 1301 years ago. Once they rebranded under American Apparel, I saw the quality go down. So I don't like dealing with the inconsistencies. So I stay away from the 1301 now. Now my go-to T-shirt is the AS Color Block T-shirt. That's their tubular T-shirt, comparable in pricing. And if you're familiar with the old All Style 1701, it's pretty comparable to that, just with a better, softer cotton, in my opinion. Fat Heck, what's going down, man? $6 something is them gouging us. Yeah, basically is, man. It's killing us. Um, I always used to think $5 for a blank hat was pricey. Um, because I was used to getting hats for like $2, $3. Um, but then now it's like $5, $6 is like the going rate for most blank hats. So obviously that drives the cost up. Um, and it sucks because the customer has to eat that, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a bummer. Thank you for all your help you give us, Brooklyn. Not a problem, man. That's what I'm here for. But that's really what these live sessions are for. I go live every Tuesday. You guys know that 7 o'clock or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, LA time. And I do it to try to help as many people as possible. You know what I mean? So the chat's open so you could ask all your questions, and I'll try to like bang through as many questions as I could get to. When you're selling shirts on your own YouTube store, is it correct to put your title and tags? I haven't sold nothing on my YouTube shop or YouTube store. So I'm not 100% sure how that works, but um yeah, I would say titles and tags would help. If so, tomorrow's the day. Hell yeah. meaning you're gonna drop some shirts on your YouTube channel in your YouTube store, get that money. Is there a way to get a bunch of different shirt samples and return them? Not return them. Um, it when you buy like wholesale, when you're buying wholesale goods, you're just buying with the intention of reselling. So there's no returning on it. So I would say create accounts with like people like SNS would be a perfect one because they offer a bunch of different blank t-shirts under one roof. And then you could order different sizes from different brands and manufacturers, different model numbers. Um, Wear them, wash them, press on them, do all the testing you want. That way, you get a better idea of how all that stuff works and what you think is the best for you. There's no quote unquote best t-shirt out there. It's just what you feel is the best and what you want to offer, what fits your budget, all that stuff. But that would be the easiest way of doing it instead of going through like let's say ordering samples from different manufacturers like independently, like opening accounts with like let's say Bella, AS Color, Gildan, Comfort Colors, I don't even know some of these other ones off the top of my head. Tooltex, I don't even know if they're still around. But yeah, instead of going like that way, you would go to like somebody like a SNS Activewear that has a bunch of different blank t-shirts under one roof. You create one account, then you can order from all of those different companies. Now they don't have every company on there, but there's a good handful of companies on there. Another one to look at is Mission Imprintables. Sanmar is another one. And somebody told me SNS bought Alpha Broder, so I don't think that one would help you. I think those are the big ones: Sanmar, SNS, Mission Imprintables right now. I like Richardson for truckers, Flex Fit, and a low profile. Forget the name. Put a single icon. 6K stitch sell for 35 to 40, but I still want a less than $5 hat. That's exactly it, man. Like I was selling my hats for the longest time for 25 bucks because there was more than enough room to profit on that thing when you're buying your hats, like I said, for 350, and you're doing the embroidery yourself. So it was easy to make really good profits selling your hats at $25. My customers really loved it. But then at the same exact time, it was hard for a lot of people because if you're not doing the embroidery yourself, paying for the production of somebody to do it comes with a really high price tag. Like for example, like when I stitch hats for people, um, like let's say the minimum's 24, I'm charging like 19 to $22 per hat. That's for the blank hat, for digitizing, and for embroidery. And that's pricey to some people, you know what I mean? And I get it, but at the same exact time, it's like I need to get paid for actually running the hats. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go somewhere else," and that's perfectly fine if you wanted to do that. And that's why I don't take in a lot of clients because the back and forth of people trying to nickel and dime, it's not worth it for me because it's always easier for me to just go to the clients that already know my pricing, that's been working with me forever, that don't care. Not that they don't care about the pricing, but they're paying for the convenience, basically, my services and the convenience because they tell me to get something done. They know the rates. They know it's going to get delivered on time, if not earlier. And I take all the guesswork out of it for them. But for like the average person that's just trying to get some hats done, people hit me up all the time. But what's up, man? Take my job in. I need to get some hats done by you. And I tell them my prices. And I'm like, nah, that's a little too expensive. And I'm like, you asked, you know what I mean? Like, I told you I'm not taking in no clients. And some people can't take no for an answer, and then they find out my rates and then they're like mad at me for pricing the stuff the way I do. I'm like, I need to get paid for doing the job. Like you could buy your own embroidery machine and do this shit and make a bunch of money like me, and I'm showing you how to do it, but you have to be able to understand my time is worth something. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and stitch the shit for free. You hear me talk about like, charging $25 for a retail hat. It's because I'm doing all the work myself. You know what I mean? I get the blank hat, I'm designing it, I'm stitching it myself, I'm cleaning it up, I'm doing everything on my own. So I'm reaping the benefits of having the machine. My labor is built into my retail price. When it comes to me stitching for somebody else, I'm not getting no retail money off of that. So my time is worth something. A lot of people don't understand how that works. And I get it. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with it. MP said Sanmar. No, SAN, Sanmar. Let me see. When you do a job making shirts for someone, do you charge them wholesale price for the shirts or retail? Example, if they order 10 tees, $8, 8.10 each for AS color shirts. Yeah. I make sure that they pay in whole, like whatever it costs. And then like let's say I'm getting it shipped. I don't get majority of my shirts shipped. A lot of times I go and pick them up, but let's just say there's like a $60 shipping fee on there. I break that $60 into the price of their blank shirts too, so they have to pay for the shipping costs. Also, they pay for the shirts in whole, but I don't charge them retail. Sometimes I might upcharge them a little bit more. Like let's say if the t-shirt costs $8, I might charge them $9. Let's say, depending on the job and depending on quantity and stuff like that. Um, but I don't charge them retail. Rufino was happening. 35 to 37 is going to become the new standard for retail. Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you for sharing Sage Knowledge, a good source. Shopping bag blanks. Probably SNS for canvas shopping bags. I know AS Color sells canvas bags. But yeah, SNS would probably be your best bet. There's a bunch of different bag manufacturers on there, so you could just type in like canvas tote, and then like a million show up. I use 5 panel Richardsons or Yupon for DTF print and resell them for 25. There you go. There you go, man. I've seen a lot of people use Richardson. Man, I tried it. Richardson's didn't work well for me. My customers didn't like the fit. Have you ever tried Plastisol transfers? That's all I used to use was Plastisol transfers. I still use them. I just don't use them as frequently because there's like a ton of other options. But I started when I first got into transfers. This is probably 20 years ago or something like that. I was doing plastisol transfers because I came from a screen printing background. So I was already used to plastisol inks. That's what I used to use. So if you look at like my old videos, like let's say year videos from like, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, it was all plastisol transfers. Hey, I'm the same. I'm just doing my own clothing brand right now. If they want custom, that's it. Where I live is in a blue collar area, but all around me is high end, like Taylor Swift's house. Damn. What do you think of T style blanks? I don't use T style blanks, so I don't really have any thoughts on it. Um, I use AS Color blanks. I just find the fit and feel works for me, works for my customers. They have everything I need. If I need a premium shirt, they got premium. If you need heavyweight, oversized t-shirts, they got those. Pigment dyed shirts, they have everything that I need, and they're like 5 minutes away from me, so it's easy for me to get. Not to say anything bad about T Style, but the people that do use them, their founder shirts are always out of stock. Because people always hit me up like, "Hey, you know where I could get this T Style founder shirt because their site's out of stock in like black 2X or whatever it is." So that tells you it's a popular T-shirt, and inventory is scarce because so many people use it, which ultimately affects the decorator or the business owner because you can't get all the sizes you want when you need them. That's kind of a pain in the ass too. That's not to say it's a bad shirt. It just shows you that it's wildly popular. But I haven't used them or printed on them or offered it to my customers because my customers really took to the AS Color shirts. So I stick with what my customers like. Do you print on bandanas? If so, what pressure on the true spec and what super color transfer? Um, I haven't pressed on any bandanas. The times that I have did it, I just went to like my regular army surplus store. That was it's called, I think it's called Western Surplus, located here in the city of Gardena, and I picked up some bandanas. And at the time, I used Super Colors. I think they have one transfer called Sub Blocker. I don't know if they have it anymore. I know they have the low melt sub block. That would work for it because some bandanas, if it's not 100% cotton, and most of the time has polyester in it, so then the polyester has this thing called dye migration, which is when they dye the fabric, when they dye the um, polyester fabric, when you apply heat to it, it releases the gases from the pigment, and then it kind of just overlays onto the print. So, like, let's say you're trying to print white on a burgundy bandana, for example, and that burgundy bandana has polyester in it. The burgundy pigment is gonna overlay on top of the and basically dye the print. So if you had a white print, the print's now gonna look pink. So I use something called sub blocker, which is Super Color has the low melt sub blocker, and you could press that on bandanas. As far as pressure, P7 is recommended if you have a true spec heat press. Like heavy pressure is all you need. As for buying them wholesale, I don't know. I haven't bought any bandanas wholesale, so I'm not 100% sure. I just got me a location and tried to hire to make a boutique to sell local brands while I fix and sell sneakers. But it seems like people was excited, but when time to work, nothing but excuses. Yeah, almost made me quit, but decided to use it as a creative hub. But how do you deal with finding help? Finding help is going to be the hardest thing for you, is because if they don't share the same passion and they're not hungry enough for it, then they're not going to live up to your standards, I should say. But if you wanted to fill the space with, people shit and stuff like that, um, there's nothing wrong with that. I ran um, a store like that before, and I did a lot of stuff on consignment, which was like, drop off 12 t-shirts, and then as they sell, um, I'll take a cut for holding it in my store and doing all the transactions for you, and then you get a basically like a wholesale rate. Like, let's say if I you drop off 12 t-shirts, you'll probably make $12 on each t-shirt, and then I probably retail it for like 30, $35 or something like that. One, it's taking up valuable real estate within my store. Two, I'm taking in all the overhead. So that's how I was running it. If I wanted to put other people's brands in my store, and it worked for a little bit, but it really, most people don't. People want to be in a store to say they're in a store, but if they don't have the clientele, like if there's no supply and demand for it, it's just gonna sit on the shelves and just take up space, collect dust and shit like that. You got to be like brutally honest with those people and be like, yo, if you're not driving traffic in here, like I'll let you try it out for a month. And if nothing moves within that month, you got to come pick your shit up and get it out of here. Because like I said, it just takes up valuable space. But looking for help is going to be hard if you want them to live up to your standards, and you got to find people that are just as hungry as you, that share the same vision as you. Hood hippies, what's happening? Who hosts your website? Shopify. Also, do they automatically handle state taxes? Yeah, you just set it up in your Shopify. I use Adams caps for my low profile hat. I've never even heard of Adams caps, but thanks for sharing. Three the hard way. What up? What do you think about that solution that's supposed to make your transfers feel more like the shirt instead of feeling like paper? I've never used it. I don't know what I've seen the videos and seen what the claims are. I just never tried it out. Um, there's two things for me. Is one, what's in the solution? Like what kind of chemical am I spraying on the shirt and then pressing down to make it to dissolve the ink to make it feel like it's in the shirt. Like you're spraying it on the top of the shirt or on top of the print, and then you're heat pressing it. So whatever chemical you're cooking into the shirt, those fumes and gases can't be good for you if it's there to, I'm thinking it's like a paint thinner, right? Like something that's supposed to make the ink softer, or I don't know. And so that's one of the reasons why I kind of stayed away from it. And two, I just don't know what the claims are, and I'm not 100% sure it's for me. You know what I mean? So I've never used it. Um, I hear there's people in the chat that usually try the shit and I'm like, man, this shit, it's the same, and there's no difference. So I just go based off of what they say. Liberty Wait, Alex said, I use Liberty bags for my bags out of Texas. I go direct. Hell yeah. And I think Liberty bags is wholesale through SNS too. So whoever was looking for um, canvas tote bags, check out Liberty. You could go directly through Liberty, or you can find Liberty bags on SNS. Dennis, what's going down? So auto hats too much. Richardson, hard to embroider. What does everyone recommend? I've been using auto. Um, it's a little bit more pricey now, and your customers are just gonna have to eat the cost. I've also used the AS Color hats, and those ones work fine. Also, what's a good table for a heat press? Look up workbenches. Those are the most sturdiest tables that, I mean, those are the tables I use. They're just called workbenches. We have the dream and passion, but others may not have the energy. That's exactly it. And that's fucking well said too, Rufino. It's like if somebody doesn't really share the vision and understand what's going on, they're not going to put as much as you would hope into it, as much as you would. You know what I mean? Master Screen Prints, what's going down? What do you think about print on demand? I don't really like print on demand because you don't get a chance to check your quality, right? Like you don't know exactly what the customer is going to receive because you're not the one printing it or packing it or anything like that. So like, what if the customer gets the shirt and then like the print's crooked, or it's too hot, like too close to the collar, or misplaced, or the colors look muted? You don't know that until you get the complaint from the customer. And then what if the customer doesn't even complain and just says, "No, I'm not going to shop with this person because their shirts are weird." See, you never know. You know what I mean? And I don't believe in getting rich off of one transaction. I believe you get rich when you have returning customers coming back to shop with you over and over again. So for quality alone, I wouldn't use print on demand, because the print on demand company, they don't share the same exact morals, and like they're not going to make sure that that's the best printed t-shirt they possibly can do because they're not the owner of that brand. They're just getting a paycheck. They're there to run the DTG machines, get the orders out, and that's all. So and I say all this firsthand experience is I used to do this thing called boxing session on my channel where people would send me their t-shirts to review on my channel. A lot of them were using print on demand companies, so when I would get those shirts in, the print would be too close to the collar, or the print would be so skewed it's like crooked, and then I'd send a picture to the person like, is this what the shirt's supposed to look like? Because if I make a YouTube video about this, it's going to make your brand look bad. So I don't think it'll be right for me to post my actual thoughts on this. I'm letting you know because I don't think you know what your shirts are looking like. And sure enough, they're like, nah, it's not supposed to look like that, or the colors ain't supposed to look like that, or it's not supposed to be printed on that t-shirt. So that right there turn me off from print on demand. And then the second thing with print on demand, like they're taking a lot of the profit you could be making. If you just did it yourself, you keep a lot more money in your pocket instead of giving it to somebody else. Half tone is the best way for me. Half toning is it, man. It always letting the t-shirt breathe. Appreciate your honesty as always. Keep it 100 through the hard way, not a problem, man. It's just Jess. Have you tried Jiffy transfers or still stick with Supercolor? I've never tried Jiffy transfers. I've never had a need to. Um, I use the companies that I could lay down and that makes sense to me. Um, but it doesn't mean that every other transfer company is trash or every other transfer company is not worth it or whatever. I just use what works for myself. You know what I mean? So um, I don't have a big need to go elsewhere for transfers. There's so many people that like get mad, like, man, why do you always talk about Supercolor? Like my channel is just me showing you guys exactly what I do for my brands, for my business, everything that I'm doing, everything I'm using, I'm sharing. It's not because I'm trying to promote something else or I'm trying to do some other crazy shit. No, it's just showing you guys what I use. And then people get mad because like, man, you've been using Supercolor for 5 years. Why don't you try something else? If it's working for me, why am I gonna switch up? Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna ride that bitch out until Supercolor goes out of business or I find something else. But I haven't found anything else that's as durable and as consistent as Supercolor. So that's why I continue to use them. And I try other companies out. Like I'll get samples and stuff like that. But if nothing really wows me, then there's no reason for me to like place an order with a different company. You know what I mean? Um, I like that 310 shirt you were rocking in the last video. I grew up in the South Bay, so I have a few designs that I have done for the South Bay. You got to be from the area to know the vibe. 100%, man. And the only reason I make those 310 shirts or 310 hats and South Bay shit is because of the store. My store is in the South Bay, right? My store's in Torrance. So the store is just for the community around there. People to come in and buy cool South Bay shit. That's basically it. I don't think I'm gonna get wildly rich off of those shirts, but it's just serving the community, right? If nobody around my area is selling South Bay shit, then I'm gonna do it. Then I'm gonna be the one selling the South Bay shit. So that's why I majority of those shirts, I sell some of them online. Majority of the sales come from in-store purchases with that stuff. Do you edit your own videos? How much time do you spend filming? Hell yeah, I edit all my own videos. I spend one Sunday a month recording videos. So I'll go to my office, set the camera up, and I'll bang through a bunch of different. That's why if you watch my videos, like if you really watch my videos, you'll know maybe 5, 7 videos in a row I'm wearing the same exact thing. It's because I take your guys' questions from the comments and I make videos about them. That's why I'll say, hey, leave your questions in the comments. Because if I get enough of the same question, then that means there's a need for it. So then that's when I actually record the video about it. Um, so I'll take one Sunday out of the month, go to my office, I'll record a bunch of shit, and then throughout the week I edit them down and then I release them. Um, so Patreon always sees the videos first. Sometimes Patreon will see 7 or 8 videos uploaded back to back to back in one sitting. Sometimes they'll see videos that aren't going to come out for the next 2 months. They'll see the shit way early because I'll upload everything on Patreon and then I slowly release them throughout the weeks going forward. But editing's pretty quick for me. Like if you look at my videos, my videos are edited um, what they call jump cut style. So all I do is I cut out the ums, dead space, me thinking. Um, I just want meat and potatoes only, right? So it's just boom, 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 talking, talking, talking. If I say or I'm trying to catch my breath or I'm thinking of what to say, I cut that part out so you don't even see that. And then all you're seeing is just me talking, boom, 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 all the way through. Um, so that's fast. And I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my videos, and I set up my keys as shortcuts. So I have like zoom in, zoom out, slice tool, ripple delete, cursor tool, all on one hand. So I'm just like mousing, clicking, mousing, clicking, and then I can edit videos fast as shit. Let me see. Glenn, what's happening, man? Guam checking in. I like your setup. Where do you go for shelving and containers? Home Depot, Lowe's, um, Sam's Club, Costco. I don't I just buy the shit that's practical. That makes any sense. My shelves, very practical. I use plastic ones for the t-shirts because we break those down and bring those to events that we vend at. I have metal shelving in the back of the shop for heavy boxes and t-shirts, blank shirts, and blah blah blah. Um, I use workbenches, shit like that. The workbenches are not made for heat presses, but they fit heat presses, so that's why I use those. Containers are just storage totes, the black ones with the yellow tops that you could buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco. It's not a lot of thought into it. It's just practical shit, everyday practical shit. Rufino, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. I always did half tones when I started screen printing. Now I just use transfers. Yeah, half toning um, is an old screen printers trick. I used to like doing it because I used to hate paying for extra screens. So if I could accomplish a design that's white and gray and then give it a half tone to give it like a darker gray color on a black t-shirt, it was always cool instead of doing spot colors and paying for extra screens. But it's always good to, I think it's always good to let the t-shirt or the print breathe. You know what I mean? I'm having a hard time figuring out how to size my designs without losing DPI. I don't have Photoshop yet. I use Kittl. That part I can't help you with Kittl, so I don't know 100% of how that shit works. I know there's some other Photoshop like softwares that either might be free, like Inkscape, I think is one of them, or is it Affliction, or I can't remember the other name. But there's some other softwares out there that are like Photoshop that are online that you can use. But yeah, I usually just set up my art board for whatever size I want the t-shirt to be. If I mean whatever design. So if like my left chest print is going to be like a 4-inch circle, I'll set my art board up for 4-inch square, draw the circle out, and then the DPI is already set at 300. So that way it's just ready to go. So I can just drag that over to the gang sheets and stuff. Ravent was happening. How come you don't do DTF in-house? I used to do DTF in-house. I don't want to be a slave to my printer. Like I like selling t-shirts. I don't really care for selling transfers. And then when I buy transfers, I buy them by the hundreds, if not 200s. So I wouldn't, it wouldn't be the right investment for myself. I got into DTF early. That was one of the big reasons why I first started opening these little shops. Like if you went back to 2020 and looked at the small shop I was in, um, we were doing DTG out of there. And then we built a DTF printer, a converted DTF printer, moved into the next shop, which was bigger, that had a full room just for DTG and DTF. I never promoted that stuff on here because I think it's a waste of money. And I also wouldn't want the people that watch me to think, oh shit, I need to buy these printers. They're wildly expensive. They require a lot of maintenance. So I never talked about it on my channel because I didn't want to put nobody in debt. Um, that's all those machines are, is just money pits, really. Outside of that, selling transfers seems like a really easy thing, especially for myself. I have a good following. It's about t-shirts and transfers. I could sell transfers all day. And that's what I originally had got into DTF prior. But then when I noticed how much time I was wasting on the printer instead of actually selling t-shirts, I've never once put it online, hey, I sell transfers. I used to sell transfers locally to people. And just that alone was just no time for me to sell shirts. It was just me in front of the printer, printing transfers, cutting them. That shit was fucking boring to me. I like selling t-shirts. So I got rid of the printer. I said, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna buy my transfers and I'm gonna actually just sell t-shirts. And that's what I like doing. You know what I mean? Most people when they buy these printers, they're like, I'm gonna print for myself, I'm gonna print for other people. And then when you get that printer, you understand it. That's not how the shit works. Like that's not how the game is, man. Like you get that printer, you have to figure out how to make money with that printer. And then it's I'm going from I want to print for myself to now I need to pay the bills, so I need to actually print for other people, and then that's what consumes most of your time. And then you get angry customers when your printer goes down. White ink clogs the print heads of all these printers, DTF, DTG. White ink is the devil when it comes to those print heads. That right there, shut your whole operation down. And then now you got a bunch of angry customers like, where the fuck's my transfers? And I'm like, well, I'm waiting on the print head to come in. I got to replace it. We ran into a problem, ran into an issue. No customer wants to hear we ran into an issue. And then you lose customers that way. You know what I mean? So that's the shit that I don't care for. I rather sell the t-shirts. I like designing shit and then getting people to buy my designs on t-shirts. That's what I like doing. Sitting there printing transfers, that shit don't sound fun to me. That shit sounds like a job, and I don't want a job, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't start my business to have a job, you know what I mean? I wanna fucking I started my business so I could be my own boss and make my own schedule and do the shit I want, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it, it's just not for me. So if anybody is watching this and they're in the market for a DTF printer and that's your thoughts, I'm going to print for myself and then I'm going to print for other people. Think to yourself, really think to yourself. Right now, how many people do you know that own a heat press? Like not online friends. I'm talking like people in your area that you know in real life. How many of those people have heat presses that could be your actual customers? And if you said, I don't know anybody that owns a heat press, or I know one or two people, are those one or two people going to help pay that machine off? Are they ordering that many transfers to help pay it off? If not, save your money and don't even get into the shit. You know what I mean? Because you need to know people with heat presses in order to sell transfers. That's number one. And if you think you're just going to get the printer and then start this online business of selling transfers, the infrastructure on the back end on how they load designs, what size gang rolls they're doing, how they load it to you, submit it, pay for it, and all that, and how it gets delivered to you is another job in itself. Just handling that part of the business takes a lot of time. And then the person running the printer that's using the RIP software that's actually maintaining the printer is another full-time job in itself. So just the printer companies aren't going to tell you all this shit. They're just trying to sell you the printer. I'm letting you know from somebody that owned the printers and that was thinking about getting into this space. These are the not so fun parts that people don't talk about. And that shit, it was an eye opener for me right away. And I can make tons of money selling transfers right now. I can make a lot of money selling transfers to people, but it's not about the money at the end of the day. It's be like, what do I actually want to do for my own business? You know what I mean? Do I want to be a transfer seller? Do I want to be a t-shirt seller? I love selling t-shirts. I don't give a fuck about selling no damn transfers. Not to say it like that, but that's, you know, let me see. G6 Custom said, who's going to Printing United in a few weeks in Orlando? If you're going, check in with G6 Customs, man. Have a good time with them. I'm launching my Shopify this weekend, and you've been a huge help. Thank you, my guy. Cat Life, I think that's your name. Get that money. Congrats on getting the Shopify up and running. Rufino, you just keep it real. Love that. When I check out your videos, I always get re-energized. Hell yeah. I'll tell you this, man. I watched an old video of mine because I was editing this other video, or the video I posted yesterday about showing you guys how to make that upside down design. I went back and watched that old video from 8 years ago, and I was just the shit just fired me up, and I was just like, damn, like it shit made me want to just start a new brand, and just watching that one video on those hats made me want to fucking just like start selling shit. So even I get inspired by myself. That's probably self-centered of me of saying that, but watching that video, I was fucking fired up, man. So I appreciate it. Brother B, for your business, what do you expense, or what would you suggest we expense? What do you mean? What like you talking about like write-offs and shit like that? What domains do you use to run your website and fulfillment? Shopify, Wix, for example. I just use Shopify for everything. I run everything off of there and I get my domains from hover.com. And then I just forward the domain to my Shopify site. How do you organize and store your transfers? I put them in Ziploc bags. I put the little silicate packets or the little deskit packets, the little moisture eating packets. I throw one of those in there. Well, Super Colored puts those in the packs, like in the Ziploc bags. So that's basically what I put them in. They come in Ziploc bags already with the little gel packets in there already. And then I stack them up inside of toolbox drawers. So underneath my table, like the table that you guys see me fold t-shirts on, there's a black toolbox under there that just has bags and bags and bags of transfers. That's how I store them. What's your camera setup like for your videos? What cameras do you use? And do you use studio lighting? I don't use any studio lighting. I just use either overhead lighting in my office. And if I don't use that, I have, I think the company's called Loom Cube. It's like it's like this big, literally. It's a little desk light. It's not a ring light, but it's a big circle disc that produces light. That's what I use. Cameras, I use a Canon M50, the old mirrorless camera. And then I'll use a DJI Osmo when you see me do like the shop life videos when I'm in the shop. I use the Osmo camera. And then for the microphone, I use the little DJI Mic Mini. I think that's what it's called. And that's it. Do I need a business bank account? I don't know. Do you? That's a question you got to ask yourself. I can't tell you to get one or not get one. You need to know that for yourself. Do you feel you need a business bank account? If you do color knockouts or halftones in DTF, check out my DT Prep plugin for Photoshop. Would love your thoughts on it. Wait, Lightning Plugins has a DT Prep plugin. So I'm guessing if you're doing knockouts, if you're doing halftones, uh, this person has a plugin for it. I'll check it out. Oh, there you go. Rufino said Inkscape is very good and it's free. So whoever was talking about just using Kittl, try out Inkscape. G dat, what's happening? What do you make of AI using Chat CPT to create graphics? Should we embrace AI? I have no idea. I don't use AI, so I can't say yeah, do it or don't do it. I might be behind the game when it comes to that shit. I might be playing catch up later. Who knows? But as of right now, I don't use it for any graphics because I'm old school. I draw my graphics with by hand and then I put it into the computer to clean up. That's just my process. I'm an old dog. You know what I mean? That's just how I've always done things. So I don't really want to learn nothing new right now. I'm just kind of just going about things the way that I'm used to doing them. You're gonna be at the ride you posted for October 18th, the Carson ride? I might be. I donate stuff to that ride every year because they do a raffle. Ed, his brother, Ed runs the Goonies, the BMX Goonies out in the valley, but he's from Carson, California. Dopest dude I know on two wheels, man. He rides from goddamn Santa Barbara down to the Mexico border. Like he does rides like that. But this one in the Carson is a cool family friendly ride. If I'm in town, I'll be there. Um, I won't know until like closer to it though. But I always donate shirts, hats, stuff like that for his raffle. Every year he does it. Yup, expensive, and you have to marry the printer. Yeah, fuck yeah, you do, man. You have to be attached to that thing, and it sucks. Pain in the ass to maintain. That's why I use the professionals for prints. That's exactly why I use the professionals for prints also, because I'd rather just buy the shit already ready to go so I could just start printing them up instead of like, worrying about the printer, the print heads, worrying about everything about that fucking printer sucks, man. Like I just want to be able to press the shirts and sell the shirts and that's it. So I let the big printers handle my prints and then I just sell the t-shirts. Mr. City Boy, that's right. Yeah, I meant DTF in-house for your own logos, for your own brand. But yeah, I got you. Thanks for your response. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem, man. When we first moved into the store that we're at now, which was 3 years ago, there's a room in the back that was just DTG, DTF only. Um, and I never the idea was, oh, have this dope ass store where people could come in and pick up their prints and stuff like that. And once we started doing that and seeing how, yeah, you can make really good money. You can make really, really good money doing that. But how much labor was involved, and I'd rather people come in and buy t-shirts instead of pick up their prints. That shit, it just wasn't fun for me no more. That's why I didn't get the DTF printer. Yeah, that makes sense about the transfers. You don't want to slave yourself to the printer unless someone will want to stay at home and do it. Yeah, that's exactly it, man. And not a lot of people, like, it's easy to watch videos and see people printing and be like, oh shit, I want to do that. And for some weird reason, a lot of people that are just getting into t-shirts are very scared and nervous to get their transfers printed. Like, everybody wants to print their own transfers at home. And I don't know if it's because you want to do some illegal shit and you're trying to bootleg stuff or whatever. That's none of my business. But for whatever reason, people are like very nervous to send their designs out to get transfers made. They rather invest a ton of money, like thousands of dollars, into printing transfers from home, thinking it's going to be easier to do, but it's really not. It's you have to pick and choose. What do you want to do? Do you want to print transfers or do you want to print t-shirts? Like, you got to like really pick and choose which one you really want to do, because both of those things will occupy a lot of your time. It's very hard to do both at the same exact time. How many shirts are you going to sell to pay that 20K or more machine? Hell yeah, that's exactly it, man. And that's when DTG was very popular, and you know, these companies had all these content creators making DTG content for them. That's something that nobody ever talked about. It's like, hey, look, this is how I can make $15,000 in a month, and they just show the printer, right? But they don't show how they're selling the shirts. They don't show anything about it. And that's when I was just like, damn, like, you're gonna sell these people these printers, put them in debt, and then you're not even gonna help them get up and running and really tell them how to use the shit to make money. You're just selling them the shit. I know so many people that have DTG printers that the shit only worked for like a few months, and then the shit got clogged, and then the print heads went down, and then it was just done. And then now you got this $18,000 printer taking up all this space on this table that you can't use no more until you replace the print head, and then until you clean out the lines. That to me is a shitty way of doing business. And every time I used to see people with those same printers complaining about them, I'm like, damn, like, if only people were talking about really the nightmare behind it. And that, not even to like scare people off, but to make people aware, like, this is what you're getting into, man. Don't be blinded by, oh, you're gonna make all this fucking money. No, if you're not gonna tell them how to make all this fucking money, you can't say you're gonna make all this money. Like, oh, you're gonna make so much money selling t-shirts. Teach the motherfuckers how to sell the t-shirts then. You know what I mean? That's my own personal gripe. And that's why my channel is the way it is. My channel is basically talking about, this is how I sell the t-shirts. Like, I tell you guys my marketing strategy, what's working, what's not working, how I'm using social media to sell these t-shirts. The shit's really about selling the t-shirts. That's what I'm trying to help people do, because there's a million channels on YouTube talking about how to print t-shirts, how to blade transfers down, what equipment to use and what transfers use, what blank t-shirt. All that shit's there. Not a lot of people talking about selling t-shirts because not a lot of people figured out how to sell t-shirts. You know what I mean? Like, selling t-shirts is the whole reason I got into this shit, not into YouTube, but into selling t-shirts, because I love selling stuff. Like, I'm addicted to that shit. Like, I like selling things. I like the challenge of trying to figure out my target audience and then create something for that target audience. And I'm a complete stranger in this space, but now I'm making money in this space. I like that kind of shit. So that's why the information you find on my channel isn't like everybody else's channel, because most people on here are just showing you how to use the equipment, how to do shit, blah blah blah. Like, I have a retail store. I sell t-shirts. Like like I was, when people be like, man, I was getting the shit out the trunk 15 years ago, 18 years ago, 20 years ago, I was really selling shit out the trunk. My shit's documented on Instagram. Like my shit, I've been doing this shit selling t-shirts. That's what I fucking like doing. That's the only reason my content is the way it is, because this is the shit that I actually do. Like I got a real fucking full-time job still. Like I'm not a content creator full time. I'm not a YouTuber full time. I'm not even a t-shirt printer full time. I have a full-time job, but I fucking still slang the fuck out these t-shirts because that's the shit I like to do. You know what I mean? Like that, no secret. If I didn't sell t-shirts, I wouldn't have a retail store. That'd be the dumbest thing if I had a retail store that I had no customers coming in to buy shit from me. You know what I mean? So I say this all the time. When you consume the content, right? I'm a content creator. I get that. And you're a content consumer. Like you're watching the content. You just have to watch the videos and the content creators that do shit that you want to do. It's like I use this analogy all the time. It's like if you were trying to lose weight and get into shape and you're watching fitness videos and you're learning workouts and all this shit, are you going to take like fitness advice about living a better, healthier life from a fat dude telling you on camera this is what you should be doing to lose weight if that motherfucker hasn't even lost weight himself, right? Like, you're not going to do that. So you need to watch the videos from the people that are doing what you want to do. Like, you can't take fucking t-shirt selling advice from somebody that never even sold a t-shirt, because they're just recycling information they heard from somebody else. Like, you really got to pay attention. And maybe I'm too old to be on YouTube, and maybe like my way of thinking is doesn't come from the social media era where you have to show and prove. Like you really got to show up to make motherfuckers believe what you're doing is legitimate, right? Because it's easy to lie on social media all day long and be like, oh, this is I'm living this fucking lavish life because of this and this. Nah, fuck that. I come from an era where you got to really fucking show and prove that shit. So that's why I am the way I am, is because that's how I grew up. I understand that the information I put out to you guys or anybody watching comes with a little bit of responsibility. So I always feel like I'm not trying to put anybody in debt and make them buy some crazy expensive thing just so I could cash in on the affiliate back end side of that thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to come out here and try to sell you guys DTG printers and DTF printers without me showing you how I'm making the money with the shit. Like, no. And I'm not going to put you guys in debt whatsoever, because everybody that's trying to get into this business is trying to better their situation. They're not coming in here to just waste money. You know what I mean? So, as the content creator, I have that responsibility of knowing who's watching me and the content that I share is as authentic as possible, because this is the shit that I do. These are the blank t-shirts I use. These are the transfers I use. This is the equipment I use. This is how I'm selling the shit that I'm making. If other content creators out there can't explain that kind of stuff to you the way that you want to receive it, then you have to watch that content with the grain of salt. Like you really just have to like take it for what it is and use your best judgment if this person is actually here to help me or is this person trying to sell me some shit. You know what I mean? 'Cause there's so many content creators out there now that's selling anything they can to their following. You know what I mean? To cash in. I don't give a fuck about all that. I'm trying to help people sell some t-shirts. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you understand how the game works so you can sell some t-shirts, make some money, hopefully make more money than I do, and live a way better lifestyle. You know what I mean? That's all the shit basically comes down to, is just you trying to better your own life. That's what I want for everybody. You know, when people say like, "Oh, I want to see you win." Like I really want to see the motherfuckers win, and I like hearing when people are like killing it. Like Threaded Headwear is a perfect example. Like that dude drives from far as fuck, comes to the store, when I'm open, and sometimes he'll be the first one in the store just to tell me his wins and losses. He'll be like, "Man, I did X, Y, and Z, what you talked about in this video. I applied it to my own business." He sells hats. "I applied it to my business. This worked, this worked, this worked, this didn't work. But then I tried this, and then this worked for me." Those types of wins, fucking, I love that shit, man. I'll chop it up with threaded headwear any day of the week because the dude is just hungry for the shit. When I hear those types of stories, that's when I'm like, all right, the shit that I'm saying is helping people out there. That's like somebody's watching, somebody's listening, they're applying it to their business. Even though he doesn't sell t-shirts, he sells hats. He's taking the shit that I'm talking about with selling t-shirts, making it work for his own business and killing shit. You know what I mean? And those are the wins that I'm talking about. I'm like, fuck yeah, this motherfucker's getting money. He doesn't have to pay me back. He doesn't have to fucking support me in any way. Like he's just listening to the information, using it for his own business and fucking shit up. And that's what like that's the to me, that's what it's all about is somebody taking the information and running with it. Because when I was coming up, wasn't nobody giving out no fucking information. Everybody wanted you to fail. Like I hate that analogy of, or I hate the idea of you gotta earn your stripes, blah, blah, blah. Man, fuck that. If I can help somebody get along and make some money, why not help them out? Why am I gonna watch somebody fall and fail in front of me when I could have easily helped them? That is a kind of a dickhead way of going about it. You know what I mean? That's the shit that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? That old mentality of you gotta put in the work, you gotta earn your stripes, start at the bottom, do this. Just because you wasted all this money and wasted all this time, you want somebody else to do the same exact thing? What kind of fucking idea is that? I've already failed a million times. I wasted a shitload of money on a bunch of dumb shit. I'd rather save people from that so they don't have to make the same mistakes I made because that's the worst, man. When you waste a gang of money and you don't got nothing to show for it, that shit will cripple your business in a heartbeat, man. And I know I've been there a bunch of times, man. Let me see. I just fucking rambled on for like 10 minutes about basically nothing. So I apologize for that. I'm paranoid about sending my art out all the time, hoping it will not get bootlegged or knocked off. You just got it's a risk you have to fucking take, man. But when you really boil the shit down through the hard way, Nike can't stop people from bootlegging Nikes. You know what I mean? Gucci can't stop people from bootlegging Gucci bags. It's if you don't put the shit out and you live in fear basically because you don't want somebody to steal your shit, you're leaving the door open for some new young gohard to have the same idea that you had, not stealing it from you, but just sharing the same vision that you've had, and they put it out first, and then they reap the benefits because they went in fearless. You know what I mean? You got to try to wrap your head around that shit. Not everybody like these transfer companies ain't stealing your shit. They print millions of transfers every day. They don't give a fuck. Let me see. I'm trying to scroll back up to like read some of this stuff. Okay. Finally caught alive from New York. How do you remove the tags from the Shaka shirts? I use Shakaware Active. Those shirts come with perforated tags where you can just rip them off. If you're using the heavyweight stuff, you would have to get a seam ripper or you just get some scissors and snip it right underneath the seam. Um, those are two different ways to do it. But I use the Shakaware Active t-shirt. Rip away tag makes your life way easier. DTF transfers versus screen prints. I like screen printed transfers, Darren. Uh, I always will. I got onto YouTube talking about screen printed transfers. I still use screen printed transfers till this day. Supercolor Wearable is a screen printed transfer. It's not a DTF transfer. Do you use QuickBooks? I don't use QuickBooks. Write-offs as in meals, travels. Is there any hacks that you'd recommend looking to hire a CPA to help out with all of this? That's the best thing you could do. And that was my recommendation is hire a CPA, let them see your financials and they tell you what you should be doing, what to spend your money on, what not to spend your money on, what to save for, all of that stuff. That's what they're there for. I'm not a CPA, so I can't give you that kind of advice on like what to write off and stuff like that. It's always best to hire a tax professional, CPA. They know what your financials are, they know what you're projected to do the following year. They can set you up for success. My CPA does it for me. He'd be like, "You made X amount of money. You need to be spending X amount of money. Buy this, buy some equipment, buy some stuff." So then that way you could offset what you're doing. But for me, I'm not a tax professional, or I'm legally, I can't tell you or give you any kind of financial advice or anything like that. So hire a CPA, hire a financial advisor, hire a tax professional, and they'll help you out to understand what exactly you're doing. You tell them what your business is, they'll tell you exactly how to make sure you're investing your money back into the business the right way. DJI is great. Yeah, DJI is dope, man. The Osmo Pocket 3 is such a dope camera, man. You ever consider getting the Fusion IQ 360 for hats? I don't heat press hats that much to buy a press like that. I embroider most of my hats, so that's why I like heat pressing them. I'll do like some truckers every now and then with like some uh Supercolor has a headwear transfer. Press those. Sometimes I'll press vinyl on trucker hats, but that's about it. So I don't think I'll ever get one of those Fusion IQ presses. They're nice and they're cool. I've never used one. I use the Heat Press Nation Signature Series cat press. Um, that works perfectly fine for me. Thanks. I will DM or email you. Cool. You hit the nail on the head. No printer for me. Big Chicoy. I think that's your name. I will stick to buying my transfers. TKO, FM Expression, Supercolor, and DTLA. Hell yeah. I always say this, man. You want to be able to have multiple options for whatever you're doing. Blank t-shirts, transfers, options are the best thing you can have. All these transfer companies, they offer different ink formulas, they have different turnaround times, they have different prices. As long as you have a bunch of different companies that you can lay down and that you feel comfortable using, one isn't better than the other. It's to have multiples under your belt is the best way to do it. So like let's say this company can't turn it around in a couple days, but you know this company can turn it around in 1 or 2 days. Or let's say you're looking for a certain ink formula for a certain material and you know this company has it but this company doesn't. Having all of these different options is only in your best interest. You know what I mean? B Crest said Kittle for designing. The AI in there is off the hook. There you go. So whoever was talking about AI graphic design, people are using it on Kittle. I'm surprised you don't have one. Yeah, for me, I'm not surprised because I don't heat press a bunch of hats, so it doesn't make sense for me to invest in something like that. Uh, you're simple, man. I love it. Way too much information nowadays. Yeah. Oh man, there's some people out there that overdo it with the information, man. You just keep that shit simple. You just do you, man. You know any people in Atlanta that press shirts? Been hard to find people to do good work over here. People leaving print marks on hats and shit. Damn. Look up Heart and Hustle. I know he's in Georgia. I don't know if he's in Atlanta, but look up Heart and Hustle. He has a store. He screen prints. He does transfers. He sells transfers. He sells blanks. He sells vinyl. He does embroidery. He does fucking banners. He does wall wraps, window signage, anything print related. Heart and Hustle does. Dopest motherfucker out there. I believe he's in Georgia, so check him out. Heart and Hustle. Cali, peace, brother. What's happening, man? Been a man. It's a long question, but hopefully easy to answer. I printed DTFs as instructed by vendor, but the transfer peeled after washing and drying on delicate. DTF company said it happens often with HPM presses, said to use a heat press pillow. Can I get your opinion on some reasons why it would peel after the first wash, possible fixes, etc.? Yeah, one, it's not the press. Transfer companies like to say that, but it's not the press. What it is there could be moisture in your t-shirt, so you'll want to pre-press the shit out of it, right? Peeling and stuff like that usually happens when there's not a lot of pressure applied or there's moisture in there. So the pressing pillow that they're talking about is just increasing the pressure, making it so you press a little bit heavier, right? Because it's lifting the shirt up higher, and then you're going to press it down and smash it in. So pressure seems like it could be the issue, could be moisture in your shirts. But those are the two things that I would check first: is the pressure, pressing a little bit heavier, and then you just got to kind of tweak the instructions a little bit. So, like, let's say they tell you 300 degrees for 10 seconds or something like that. You could go try 305 for 10 seconds, try 310 for 10 seconds. And then you could even increase the duration if you wanted to. So you could do 305 for 12 seconds, 310 for 12 seconds, and then see how that works. The way I do it is I'll take one t-shirt, right? Like this blank t-shirt I'm wearing. I'll lay it on the press. I'll take the transfer. Like, let's say this is the whole transfer, right? I'll cut this shit up in pieces. So then that way I get like 8 off of this one sheet. And then I'll press one right here at the recommended instructions, right? So let's say it's 300 degrees, 10 seconds, heavy pressure. And then right below it, I'll go 305 for 10 seconds. And then below that, I'll go 310 for 10 seconds, then 315 for 10 seconds. And then on this side, I'll either go like 300 for 12 seconds, and then I'll go 305 for 12 seconds. And I'll try different ones on this side of the shirt. On the back side of the shirt, I'll do the same exact thing and run the same test going down there. And then let's say instead of going hotter, I'll go cooler. I'll go 300, then I'll go 295, 290, or whatever it is. Then I'll wash that one shirt that has all of those different presses on there. It's just like gonna look like random shit, just little pieces everywhere. You wash it, dry it, wash it, dry, and then see how it reacts. And then that way you look at the shirt and then you'll be like, all right, which one had the best outcome? Then you write that one down and you're like, all right, you know what? 310 for 10 seconds was the best one. Didn't peel, didn't nothing crack or anything. So now you know 310 for 10 seconds with that transfer or that DTF that you're using is the go-to setting. And then that way you can just start banging the shit out. Um, so try that test out, but then also really try increasing the pressure more, and then bump the heat up a little bit. It's just going to be trial and error at this point. But I say cut the transfer up because you don't want to waste a bunch of transfers. So you'll just be basically wasting one and chop it up. As long as you're getting heat and you're getting ink and adhesive on each piece, press that shit down. You'll draw a diagram. Like I'll show you like this. So you just draw your t-shirt like this, and then you do something like this. Hold on. So you're going to draw a little diagram like this, and then that's like first little transfer at 300, then the next piece of transfer at 310, then the next one at 320, 325. And the same thing on the other side. Do the same thing. Flip the shirt over, press them on the back. When you wash that shirt and you dry it, and you wash and dry it, you'll check your little diagram that you made, and then you're like, all right, yeah, the third one down at 320 degrees, that shit worked out perfect. So then 320 degrees, 10 seconds, that's my shit. Easiest test to do. Nobody likes doing this testing part because nobody wants to put in the work for that test, but that's the best way to figure out your settings for your press with that exact transfer. So then anytime you order from that company again, my shit needs to be dialed in at 320 for 10 seconds or whatever. You don't have to do that test all over again. You do it once, write it down, and you're good to go. Hit the like button. He's using his time to share valuable information. Irvin O'Neill, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. I do these lives just for y'all, man. It's because of the quality of prints. I need the secrets to where the best transfers are. Quality is solid. Referred by some homies who vouch. It's a def user error. It happens, man. User error happens to all of us, man. Shit happens to me all the fucking time. Cutie Lash was happening. Yeah, I want to know how to sell them. That's it. You're a go-getter and a hell of a businessman. You know the industry and the product. Modest and humble attitude makes it feel like we can all succeed like you. Thank you for all you do. Fat Heck, I appreciate that, bro. The biggest takeaway from that, I appreciate the kind words, is I stay in my lane. I don't try to be more than I am, or I also don't try to be less than what I can do. It's I understand how to sell shit, but I also know when I look up shit on YouTube, I look for people that look like me, talk like me, so I can understand what the fuck they're saying, right? If I got on here and I looked up some shit like fucking how to reupholster a fucking recliner or something like that, that's something I don't know nothing about, right? Where I'm like, what kind of foam do I need? What kind of sewing machine would I need? What kind of material I need? I'm gonna look on YouTube and try to figure this shit out. If I'm looking at somebody's page and they're way too proper and they're talking in lingo that I don't know, like because I don't come from the upholstery world, then I'm not going to tune into that type of content. But if I see somebody that's talking like myself and I could understand what the fuck they're saying, then I'll be like, all right, cool. I'm going to watch this dude because he's talking my language now. Regular English. He's not using crazy terms. He understands that I'm a beginner and he's trying to teach me how to reupholster a recliner. That's the only reason I make the content that I make, is because when I first got onto YouTube, there was nobody on YouTube that, like, everybody was like polished up on their shit and they was trying to present themselves as like fucking newscasters. And I was like, man, what the fuck? Like, I'm not trying to learn how to do that. That's when I was just like, let me get onto YouTube. And I know there's gotta be some people out there that are like, I don't know what the fuck plastisol ink is. I don't know what a transfer is. So let me explain what a plastisol screen printed transfer is in English. You know what I mean? In terms that somebody else can understand. And that's how I got onto YouTube, was just like, let me try to figure out how to like dumb this down and make anybody that's trying to get into this space understand what they're getting into. And that's one of the big reasons why I when people used to talk about patches, I'm like, man, patch makers have different terminology that I didn't understand when I first got into like getting patches made, where I was like, I need to tell people what this shit means or look into this and understand patch maker terminology because it's different from t-shirt printer terminology. So that's I appreciate the kind words, Fat Heck, for real, man. Think it's dope. Do you teach anything on tension for embroidery? No. The way I check my tension is I do the eye test, which sucks because it takes forever to do. Um, but that's the only way that I check my tension. And usually do that when I replace spools of thread. That's usually when I have to do that. When will you be at the shop? I'm not 100% sure. I'm traveling a lot. I'm busy, so it's hard for me to get in there. Um, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna try to open up this month. Hopefully, we'll see. Like that, not the edited version of what people want to see. Yeah. Does using Gildan promote cheap? Nah, I don't think so. It's just Gildan probably has a negative halo or negative like a gray cloud over them because people say Gildan shirts are cheap, but there's so many different Gildan models like of blanks. Like I think Hammer is one of them. A lot of people talk about that one, where it looks and feels different than a standard regular Gildan shirt that you would buy at Michael's. So it just all depends on who your clientele is. And then if you didn't want people to know you print on Gildan, then take the tag off and put your own tag in there, man. That'll take care of that. Oh my God, so many of those people online and on social media. Yeah, man. Dog keeping it real. That's right. It is what it is, man. All right, let me see. You sell courses as a precursor to more courses. That's a crazy hustle. I can't knock somebody's money. It's just it shit ain't for me, man. But selling courses to buy into more courses is a crazy move. Um, love that mentality, no gatekeeping. No, man, it ain't even about. It's just trying to help people and get people on. You know what I mean? That's like the biggest thing is trying to get people to understand that you can do this. Like this shit ain't rocket science. Takes a lot of hard work. I'll give you that. But there's nothing about this business that is made for one group of people only. No, anybody could get into this space. Anybody could register for a business for one. It's just you only get what you put in. So you know what I mean? If you're trying to better yourself constantly, then you'll be good to go, man. You'll figure this shit out. You'll understand that a lot of what we want to do and what we don't do is in our own heads. We block ourselves more than anybody else, than any other hater in the world. We, the business owner, block our own selves all the time because we're stuck in our head and we're like, I should do this, or maybe I should do this, or man, I want to do this, but I'm not going to be good at it. That's just us getting in our own way. Once you eliminate that and you see that there's so much freedom on the other side of that way of thinking, this shit is, like I said, it's fucking freedom. West Side Roll. What up, Triple OG? My dude, a cool Asian Dr. Dre. Hell yeah, that's some funny shit right there. Fuck. This is why you are superb to me. I appreciate that, A1. I don't think I've ever been called superb. That's some cool shit too. Makes me mad seeing Shein ripping all the designs Americans come up with. Yeah, it happens, man. And you can't stop people stealing shit. It's crazy, man. And sharing the knowledge and is the reason why you've earned all of your respect, especially mine. Respect, my brother. Appreciate you, Ravent. And you've been rocking with me for a while, man. I have friends that have their own businesses and they utilize team logos, Disney, which includes shirts and jewelry. How is that possible? Look, man, I tell people this all the time. You just have to operate at your own risk. If you want to tiptoe that line and you want to do some shit like that and print that kind of stuff, operate at your own risk. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I'm also not going to tell you to do it. That's on you, man. I don't do it, so I can only speak about what I do. Always appreciate you, big dog. My LA hat sales dried up. Dodgers are winning these games. I'm up in the comments using your strategy and selling at least one or more a day. Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like right now, Dodgers postseason shit is the best time to like. I'll say this, man. This right here, I fuck with undefeated. Anytime the Dodgers or the Lakers or the Kings make it to postseason, these brands always like put out dope ass collab shit, right? So this is a undefeated hat, Dodgers hat. Right as the postseason started, they dropped these shits, and I picked up every single color. Why? I'm a dumbass. Two, I love this kind of shit. Like this kind of shit to me dates. Like I know 2025 Dodgers were in the postseason, so I pick up the hats. I do it every year or every time they release shit like that. I always pick that kind of stuff up. One, I support Undefeated. I like their brand. But two, this shit speaks to me. Undefeated is a brand I always supported where, but Dodgers, obviously, you know what I mean? So I like this time of year when it comes to like being a consumer, to buying shit, to being a fan. Best shit ever. Like I said, I bought every fucking color: green, Dodger blue, black. I opened the box in front of my wife. She's like, "What the fuck? You? How many fucking hats did you buy?" I'm like, "Man, I had to get them all just in case they sell out. But these match these match these shoes, and I had to get Dodger blue just cause." But about to take my t-shirts to the next level. I'll be dyeing my own shirts, getting more hands-on with it. I screen print and heat press. Experimenting is the best part. Three the hard way. That's what I'm talking about, man. Dyeing the shit yourself, dope as fuck. I always looked at there's some one dude, he used to dye shoes, and he would use coffee. He would put like coffee in a big ass tub, well, hot water, and then he'd dye shoes. He'd dye the shoes like some Air Force Ones. He'll dye the shit, and the coffee turns it like a tannish color. I've always liked that tan color. I was like, man, somebody needs to make a T-shirt that exact brown tan color. Shit's dope as fuck to me. But I always thought like dyeing your own shit was dope. So good luck with that, man. That's gonna make your shit really pop. What's your thoughts on you flipping your LA Chucks logo upside down on a hat? That's not for me. The upside down shit, I just made a video about it. When I was doing the upside down shit was like 8, 9 years ago. I know it's popular now. For me, no. But I will say this: I have embroidered that logo, the Chucks with the LA on a hat. It doesn't look as good as it does on print. It's just because there's too much little micro detail in the Chucks. Like the design would have to be pretty big for it to capture all the detail in the stitching. So on the hat, it doesn't look as good as it does in print. And I was bummed out. You know what I mean? Raise temp pressure and preheat before good looks, brother. Been lacking on the experiment. I appreciate it. Yeah, not a problem. Like for me, that's not the fun part of this shit. Like the testing, the experimenting, the all that. Nobody likes doing it. Wash tests, I like doing it because I want to know what this shit's gonna do when the customer receives it. A lot of people don't do that. They say they do, but they really don't because who the fuck wants to keep washing the shirt over and over and over? You want to fucking sell the shirt. Like you want to put it out as soon as possible to make some money. For myself, I like that part. The R&D side of it, the experimental shit, I like that part of the business because it just makes me so much more confident in whatever I'm offering. You know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up about the experimenting part, man. Everybody goes to that part. Most people don't like doing it. You know what I mean? But once you like really lock the shit down and you understand how the shit works, you'll be good to go. Isaac Gonzalez said, "Commerce raised in the house." Hell yeah! Shout out to the city of Commerce. I'll do the test if it'll help me be more productive and proficient instead of wasting transfers daily. That's exactly it. That's why I do it. Basically it. I kind of want to know what's going to happen when the customer gets the t-shirt at home. That's why. You travel for shirts or work? For both and for pleasure. Like I go out, me and my family travel all the time, man. But I travel for shirt stuff all the time, business stuff all the time, for work. I'm everywhere. We sell Gildan Soft, removing tags, and people sweat them on quality. I think you're saying you use Gildan Soft shirts, you remove the tag, and people think the quality is good. I think that's what you're saying. Always tells me to get out of my own way. That's exactly what we all get in our own way, man. Sammy H, what's happening? New to your page, but I'm a sub now. Just you. Thanks for watching, man. Thanks for finding me. With hats, have you ever felt good about a press design or do you go back to puff embroidery? The only times I do press designs is on truckers, mainly foam truckers. If I don't use foam truckers, I use cotton poly front truckers. That's the only time I like the press, like pressing prints on the hats. Um, as for like the regular 6 panel snapbacks and fitted hats and stuff like that, I just do embroidery for those. I'm working on some hoodies, faith-based streetwear. You are the GOAT. Thank you for what you do. Love your content. And to be honest, it was because of you that I started. M Tice, I think that's your name, gamer, EMT Ice Gamer. Appreciate you. Good luck with your business, but thanks for watching, man. And I'm glad I could have helped you out a little bit to get you going. Um, so best of luck with your business, man. Get that fucking money. You know what I mean? You ever press the hat but using 4 layers of flock underneath to make logo stand out and give it more of an authentic look? Damn, I've never done that before. Sounds like a good ass plan. I have pressed brick. I think that's what it was called. Where it's like kind of foamy. I pressed some brick on hats, but then I didn't really like the way it looked. So then I used the brick on fleece, on like sweat shorts and crew necks and stuff like that. I like the way that looked. But I've never pressed like layers of flock to give it a more like puffed up look. It's kind of a good idea. What is the best method for pressing your tag design inside the shirt? Turn your shirt inside out or use a small press. That comes down to production. like turning the shirt inside out seems like a good idea, but it also, if you're going to do 200 of those, turning the shirt inside out for 200 shirts and then right side out, you know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot of time to do that. I use a hat press, like the little cap press, the one that you press hats with. I mainly use my cap press to press the neck labels. You'll see me do it on Instagram all day long. I always do that shit. That's how I press them in. Makes it easier. If you didn't want to buy a cap press, you could buy mouse pads. Like, just buy a regular size mouse pad. Then you cut it down to like whatever size your neck label is, and then you don't have to turn your shirt inside out. You put the mouse pad down, and then you lay your t-shirt over it, and then you just spread the collar out around the mouse pad, and then you press it on there. That makes your life easier. I have a video showing how to do that shit. People don't know what's gilding when tags are removed. That's exactly it. And the shit's good, man. Like, the t-shirt's not bad. You know what I mean? It's just people have like a weird negative thought about the brand until they don't know it's the brand. Like, oh shit, this is a dope ass shirt. And then you tell them, yeah, motherfucker, it's Gildan, bitch. But not to say it like that, but you know what I mean? Since people have something to say about it. Hello from Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh. Shout out to the Steelers. Appreciate you, Donna, for jumping on and watching from Pittsburgh. Embroidery doesn't look too good on foam truckers. I agree. I don't think it looks that good either. That's why I like pressing on foam truckers. But I don't sell too many foam truckers to begin with, so I don't want to make it sound like I'm making foam truckers all day long. I don't sell a lot of them, but when I do them, because I live by the beach cities, a lot of the beach goers and surf community like trucker hats, so it's an easier sell because men and women wear trucker hats down here by the beach. So that's when I kind of release those. When should you use halftone on your designs, and when do you not need to use it? Um, that's gonna come down to like a personal preference. Like, you use halftoning when you think the design looks better as a halftone. If you don't do halftones, I like to knock out certain colors. Like, let's say I'm pressing on a black shirt, there won't be any black in my design because I'll knock that color out so the black shows through as the black in the design. That also allows the print to breathe also. But when it comes to halftones, it all depends on you. Like, is there gradients in your design that call out for the halftones? It's that kind of stuff. I don't know what like, if it's just solid text, you probably don't need to halftone it. So I can't say do it for this design, but don't do it for that. It comes down to per design what you think it calls out for. Thanks for answering my question, John. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for that. Did those blue auto hats come in yet? No, they didn't, man. Anytime the Dodgers make it to the postseason, royal blue hats sold out everywhere. Royal blue t-shirts sold out everywhere. So I'm still waiting on all of that, man. I was just talking about that earlier too. Like, we was talking about auto raising the prices. That's what we waiting on. Thanks, bro, for being so real and giving us so much time and knowledge. Not a problem, man. An hour or an hour and a half of my time, no big deal, man, to try to help as many people as possible out. So I thank you guys for jumping on. Like I said, I do this shit every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Actually, next Tuesday, I probably won't be on. So I'll probably try to do it Monday or Wednesday. But that's next week. So next Tuesday, I won't be on live, but I'll try to jump on Wednesday. Um, but I'll post on Instagram what day I plan on going live. But I appreciate you for jumping on, asking the questions, rocking with the live sessions, man. If you wanted to rewatch this, it'll be on YouTube for you. You know what I mean? You should try layering flock underneath the logo on hats. It's a game changer. Fuck yeah, that's dope, man. I got here late tonight, but I'm going back and watching. You don't seem like the kind of guy who cares, but I hope that we can get you more viewers. You deserve it. I think your name is Bohan. Thanks for that, man. That's dope. Appreciate it. Have you been watching your vids? Oh, haven't been watching your vids for a while since getting my embroidery machine, but I'm gonna start again. Hell yeah, appreciate that. Random Gardena question. You know the homies, Budico, Simply Hawaiian? Hell yeah, I remember them. I remember all of them, man. Simply Hawaiian, Budico was killing it. If you want to talk about guerrilla marketing, I'll say this real quick. Budico had, I would say, Los Angeles in a chokehold when they were slapping stickers everywhere. Like I'm talking about blanket covering the city. Um, Shit was dope to see and really dope marketing strategy from old graffiti head. Like for myself, that's why I like putting up stickers. Like that shit just brings me back to like graffiti days of trying to get up, right? So I'm just like I'm slapping stickers everywhere. People get a kick out of the ones that they see at the post office and stuff like that, but th- these stickers are in places you would never think of. If you're at fucking CVS going through the drive-through pharmacy, you'll see my sticker in that fucking little drawer. I'm putting them everywhere. So I don't know if you guys go to Popeyes much here in Gardena. The Popeyes on Rosecrans, they got the like bulletproof glass where the shit spins. You see my sticker on that shit too. This shit is everywhere, man. But I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for jumping on this live and asking the questions and rocking with me, man. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace. Come to Pittsburgh.